in the amount of $600. Ms. Bonds claims she and her siblings threw their mother a 90th birthday celebration and says her sister invited a prejudiced aunt to the party without her knowledge.
State your name.
Sandy Bonds.
Ma'am?
Louise Bonds Little.
All right, and you are suing your sister for $600.
Yes, Your Honor.
Start with you.
Yes, Your Honor. I am suing my sister for the $600 for our mother's birthday event that she failed to tell me that our aunt was going to be present. And my
was in
aunt,
some type of contract saying that she won't be? There was part of the agreement for the $600? Is that what you're saying?
It was verbal. She provided me with 10 names, and Aunt Joan wasn't on there.
What was the agreement?
The agreement was for 10, and so 8 of those people that were attending were our relatives.
Okay.
Which
give $600 and we'll have 10 people. That's what I'm giving you my $600 for. That was the agreement?
That was the agreement.
All right, let's start with you, ma'am. You tell me about the agreement.
This is a family affair. This is a family affair. I told my sister that there might be 1 or 2 other people, but I wasn't sure because they hadn't responded. Our mother was turning 90, Your Honor. And so we thought it was going to be this. First of all, we're just happy she made it to that age. So we were going to have a party. It was going to be just for some family and some close friends. And we had the list of people, and we were going to have it at this lovely resort, the Landing in Lake Tahoe. And it was going, I planned it. It was my idea, they agreed, and it was a spa, it was a resort. There was going to be food, pasta bar, dessert bar, all of these drinks. It was going to be just this lovely affair to celebrate our mother.
Who did you plan it with?
I'm an event planner, so I planned it with myself. My siblings, they let me plan.
How many other siblings do you have?
We have 2.
Okay.
There's 3 of us all
did
together.
you all at least come to an agreement about what we're going to do for Mom and how much each of us are going to pay?
Correct.
So why is it that you want your money back again?
I asked her for the list of people that were going to show.
Why?
And that was because,
Why? Yeah.
because we were going to be limited. So we were only supposed to have 10.
All right, why couldn't you just ask how many people?
Your Honor, here's what I wanted her to do. Aunt Joan, okay? Here's a long history of Aunt Joan, just to give you a little peek.
Go ahead.
You know, just borderline racist, okay? So...
Don't try to play on my emotions. I don't care about her being racist. She ain't alone.
Oh, yeah, so borderline racist, and so she knew this of our history. My sister knew this. I have not spoken to her aunt for years because of this history. So she keeps this away from me, but let me tell you why. Because we were each paying $600 apiece for our mother's event, she knew to advise me that Aunt Joan was going to be there. Perhaps she wouldn't get the money, the $600, because for me, what I've had to go through with the history of this woman, for instance, when we showed up for the party, she says, oh, the brown ones are here, and he needs to comb his hair, talking about my fiance, Bob. This has been a history. My sister and I are half-sisters, so we do not have the same father.
She uses racial insults amongst the family. Aunt JoJo?
She's the female Archie Bunker, and everyone in the family knows this. Nobody likes this about her. We just try to put up with her. She's 95. She's my mother's, our mother's older sister, helped my mother out when she was widowed, helped raise us, all of us. And no, she's not the star. She's not someone who says nice things all the time. We all know this about her, and we all put up with it.
First Amendment freedom of speech. You can say whatever you want about somebody, but short of defamation and short of starting an emergency exit from a fire, lying about something like that. But my point I'm about to get to is that's hard. This is a hard case to really put in perspective.
Coming up on Mathis.
And folks I associate with that are racist in my community, however, and I disdain it, homophobia is prevalent, primarily because of the interpretation that it's a sin. What some folks want to embrace that as their reason for disliking the LGBTQ plus community. And so I don't like it. I view them as ignorant, but I'm going to go at the event. And I may be wrong. If we had a big homophobic in our family and I knew they were going to be there, I'd go there and say, just keep him away from me, because I ain't trying to hear that. Now, why didn't you think that would be reasonable?
Your Honor, you present an excellent question, and I believe that I did go through that in my mind. So when I was more or less bombarded with her as soon as I walk in the door, with all of her insults, and I'm going, you know what?
I'm just thinking of her.
You know,
I'm just thinking of it. I haven't seen her. You haven't even told me one word she may have said. But when you said she walked in that door, bombard you, I could just see an image. That's why I'm laughing. I can just see somebody like that.
And it's hurtful. So for my sister, I don't believe that she has the sensitivity that she needs. Love her. We've always gotten along. But how this was done, how it was set up. She had an opportunity to say to me beforehand, hey.
So she put
Joan's
you in a position that prohibited you from getting the experience that you paid for. That's
exactly
the essence of what you have to be saying. However, the experience wasn't for you. That's the problem we have. Your $600 was for your mother's experience. Now, if it was for you, then yes. But you contributed. How many people? 3 or 4, you said?
Three.
Yeah, 3 people contributed to have something for your mother. Mm-hmm. If you didn't come, you want your money back? And if they don't have it, where you going? And they gave it all to Mama, and Mama's the one you got to get your money back from.
And Your Honor, no, I wouldn't want it from my mother.
Your money, right. But because the purpose is for this is Mama's money. That's Mama's money because it went to the party.
Correct.
Ma'am, your $600 went to the place it was to go. To a party for your mother. Now, just because you didn't like the guest or the aunt that you saw, how big was the location? Was it a house with a yard?
It
with
was
a backyard?
resort. There was a spa. There were places my sister could have taken herself off to and enjoyed a spa.
Yeah. I've had fist fights, like from years and years ago. Pulled weapons years and years ago on cousins. From back in the day, cousins my age were young adults, fools, doing whatever, weed, drinking, and so you get acting a fool. And you come one more step, all that old nonsense. Now, you may still have a few little resentment toward that, even though we were kids. I might still have a little resentment. You pulled a gun on me. I'll never forget you pulled a gun on me. So I stay away from them. I just stay away. Believe me, they want to talk. They want to be friends now, Cousin Greg. Now you want to be friendly, Cousin Greg on TV. All right. So that's the cost of having relatives you don't like. You go somewhere where they're going to be. What are you going to do? Should a close family member pass?
You have a point, but I was more for my sister that I feel that she was just deceptive. If she would have told the truth, I could have made a better decision. Let's just say I decided I was going to do something for our mother myself instead of contribute the $600. I'm not saying that's what I would have done, but she took my ability to make a clear decision away when she pulled the stuff that she pulled.
There were people there she didn't like when she saw that list too. She just played like she did. So that's a case when anybody get together. Probably anything over 6 people. There's somebody within that 6 that doesn't like one of those people. All right, so we have to grin and bear it when we're in the company of people we don't like. When they're too ignorant and we resent them like we resent resent racists. We resent those who degrade women and the other sexes. So that's how we resent them and try to avoid them. But that's the best we can do. All right?
Thank you.
Have a good day.
All right, thank you.
Your claim is dismissed.
All right.
All rise.
Judge Mathis has ruled in favor of the defendant, the plaintiff's claim. Stacy Brown is suing Dylan Hernandez in the amount of $3,500. Ms. Brown claims she hired Mr. Hernandez to train her Rottweiler and says the sessions were a waste of money because the dog's behavior did not improve.
State your name.
Hi, my name is Stacy Brown.
Sir?
My name is Dylan Hernandez.
All right, and Ms. Brown, you're suing Mr. Hernandez for $3,500, alleging he is a professional trainer, but did not give you standard work as
Correct.
satisfactory.
Yes, sir.
Let me hear from you.
I paid him
Where do you know him from? Where'd
I
you hear
bought
of
him. I went into a pet store and I found an advertisement for training, and I spoke to the lady at the register, and she verified that he was very good. So I went with that.
Good. And what were you looking to have done?
Oh boy, I have a Rottweiler. His name's Tank, and I needed him to.
How old is the Rottweiler?
He's 5 years old now.
5 years old.
He's 5 now. You know, he was tearing things up in the house, wouldn't listen to me anymore, and I had to do something, you know.
Okay.
I didn't want to get rid of him, so I went to the training idea.
Give me some background on your work, sir.
So I've been a dog trainer all my life, professionally for the last 3 years. My father was actually a dog trainer himself.
$3,500 was to be for what?
For a 6-week program. I trained a dog 4 days a week. We trained for 8 hours. On the 4th day.
4 days a week for 8 hours?
So 3 days.
So full time, how much you pay that dog? Hope you paying the minimum wage. 4 days a week, 8 hours a day.
So 3 days are 8 weeks, and then on Sundays we do a consultation with my former client, and we discuss how the dog is doing, kind of like a progress report.
I would be confident in that if he told me that. Is that what he shared with you, and what did happen?
In the beginning, that's what he told me as well, and we went along with that, but I didn't see much progress after the 3rd week. When I would go to pick the dog up at his facility, he was great. We would leave and go home, nothing.
Her role was to have the dog continue learning the basic commands, which are, you know, to stand, to sit, roll over, come here, and then she would provide positive reinforcement with the dog by awarding him with his dinner and treats. And I noticed that in the login in the Excel spreadsheet, she was missing certain days of the training.
Give me specifically. You have to give me some specifics that you expected and was not delivered.
The dog had no difference in his obedience from the time I started him there to when the 6 weeks were up.
That's hard to believe.
Only when I was at his facility.
Seriously, did you turn the dog against her?
Your Honor, I tried my best to
Did you tell the dog something back about it to make the dog turn the dog on?
I did not, Your Honor.
I've got video.
This doesn't make sense.
I've got all
Pardon?
kinds of evidence if you're interested.
Yes, I am. What do you have there that you can bring? You can.
Would you like to?
Yes, please.
I've put in a video and a couple pictures.
Oh, great.
Whatever. you
Great.
need,
Yes, I
whatever you
want
need.
it all. What's this?
That is the schedule that
That's
we
the
go
schedule.
over.
All right. I want to see what she's supposed to do at home. Did you give her something in writing?
Yes, it is right here, the one that says Thursday and Friday.
Right.
Those are the ones that she's
Oh,
supposed to do.
please. You know this woman don't have time for all this. Did you read this before
I did.
agreeing that you know you didn't have time for this?
No, I didn't read that before.
Huh?
I did not
Pardon?
read. I did not read that
Yeah,
before.
this is a
I
lot
paid
of
him.
work. You're probably right. She didn't do it at home. This is a lot of work, sir. You're supposed to do this work. Stand to sit, roll over, come here, positive reinforcement dinner. Now you got a cooking dinner. Pre-test, training again, drop it, leave it, catch it, positive reinforcement with another dinner. You made your dog fat, your dog fatter than
No
he
wonder he
was.
can't do it.
Pardon?
No wonder he can't do any of those things.
Yeah, right. He ain't gonna be able to jump as much as you tell her to feed him dinner. 1, 2, these are 5 dinners in one day. All right, $1,750 is your judgment. I'm going to give you half
All right.
because I believe you contributed to that failure. And on the other hand, sir, You turned the dog against his mom, so I don't play that. Have a good day.
All rise.
Judge Mathis has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $1,750.
Well, I hope we both have learned something through this.
You know what they say, you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
You had your day in court. Step this way, please.
Call me old.
Judge Mathis.
Bruce Gilbert is suing Laura Peters in the amount of $1,000.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may be seated.
Mr. Gilbert claims his now ex-wife posted a vindictive review of his marriage counseling practice and says the revenge post cost him future clients.
State your name.
Bruce Gilbert, Your Honor.
Ma'am?
Laura Peters.
All right, and sir, you're suing the defendant for $1,000, alleging you suffered lost wages after she posted a false review for your business?
That is correct, Your Honor. I am a marriage counselor. I've been a marriage counselor for 12 years. Laura Peters is my ex-wife, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
You know, we were married for 20 years. And as disappointing as it is, I did the best that I could, and we no longer made each other happy. We argued about everything. We didn't find time for each other.
Don't you know that that's necessary for a successful marriage?
I absolutely do, Your Honor, but I also know that I can't do it by myself. Also, you know, when you ask about my profession and my home, you know, those are two separate things. It's kind of like if you ask a mechanic to work on his own car. My marriage and my business.
What would wrong with a mechanic changing his own battery?
Well, you know, Your Honor, do you want to hear cases when you get home?
Don't ask me
from
questions.
work?
I'm asking you the questions.
Yes, Your Honor. I don't.
You should have the wisdom. I have the wisdom of the law to make the right decisions at my home. Yes. No, I'm not trying, but I have the wisdom, the knowledge, the training that allows me to successfully navigate things that deal with the law. It's unfortunate that with all this training that you have, you don't use any of it, or you don't feel that you have the ability to use it to navigate your own life and be successful. Do you think you have much credibility when somebody walks in your office and you're a marriage counselor and they just want to know, well, you know how marriage is, don't you? Yeah, I know how marriage. Are you married? Yeah, I've been married for 20 years. Then they say, well, those 20 years, are you still married, right? No, I divorced.
I agree.
Oh, I got the wrong counselor. Let me go. So that's what I'm saying. Yes, it does matter, both in your private and in your professional life.
In my defense, Your Honor, a marriage is a two-way street, and it's not something that one person can affect on their own. All right? My ex-wife did not meet me halfway.
How many years ago did it start going bad?
It started to go bad, I guess, in the 15th year, Your Honor. I wish that both of us could have taken the time to meet each other halfway, and we did not do that.
What was going on? What was going wrong with your marriage?
Well, we lost affection was one thing, and the arguments were over everything, every little thing. It seemed like that there was nothing.
He started all the arguments, Your Honor. He started every argument.
There was nothing that I could do that would make her happy.
She says you started all the arguments. Is that true?
She's certainly entitled to her opinion. I don't believe that that's true, Your Honor.
Did you start the majority of them?
No, I believe that it was 50-50, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. And you have a unique knowledge on how to handle arguments, though. You should. You should have a unique knowledge about how to handle arguments within a marriage. And you should be able to tell folks, walk away when you feel like you want to argue, or if your wife begins saying things that might provoke an argument. Walk away, or say, honey, please, let's not do this, or do something that stops that. You can try and back away from your knowledge and your profession all you want, but let me tell you that people, when I'm with them and they ask me about the law If I can't give them the correct law and don't comply with that law, they're not going to recommend me as a lawyer to anybody.
I understand, Your Honor. Again, I have to say in my own defense that one party in a marriage can only carry half of the load.
Can walk away. One party can walk away. Not half and half argue. All right, sir, but I hate keep reflecting on your profession, but I have to, because she's a lay woman. She may not know how to handle conflict. It's less likely, it's very less likely that she knows how to handle a conflict in marriage. You've been trained to learn how to resolve conflict in a marriage. So when she says you argue most of the time, you admit to half of the time. Whenever somebody admits to something, you put another 20-30% on that.
Fun
What are the arguments about for the most part?
We argued about everything, Your Honor.
Okay.
From what the weather may be outside that day to what restaurant to eat at. Whether or not there was a towel on the bathroom floor, and any little thing.
What else are underlying problems there then? What do you suspect those were?
I believe that we grew apart, Your Honor.
Okay.
I believe that after 15 years, we began to grow apart.
Because you weren't spending time with each other, like you said.
That is correct. Also, not meeting each other halfway. There was a time when we both made every effort to make each other happy. We got married intending to be together for the rest of our lives. And both of us stopped working towards that goal. We decided that the best thing to do at that point would be a trial separation. We separated, and during that time, Your Honor, I met another woman. Her name was Kate. We exchanged phone numbers. We were at a bar one evening with some friends. And
that story didn't work for her, and so it's not working for me. Let me hear from you, and then I'll determine whether I'm going to buy that story. Go ahead.
Yes, hi, Your Honor. So we were married for about 20 years, and our marriage always seemed to lack affection from the beginning.
From the beginning?
From the beginning. We cared about each other as people, like we wanted to see each other win in our professions and stuff like that. But there's always been like a lack of intimacy between us. So when I found out...
That might happen years later when don't bother me, I'm in the bed on my side, I'm trying to sleep, don't be reaching over here and da.
And it might be because
40s,
of the...
50s, and 60s, or 50s and 60s and 70s.
It might have been because of so much arguing between us that we just lacked affection.
Correct.
But we were trying to make our marriage work. We separated for 2 months, and he called me up saying that he wanted to reconcile, and we went to dinner, and everything was going well.
I called you up to tell you that I wanted to talk about our marriage. Let's be clear about that.
Insinuating that we were going to get back together.
What were you all talking about when you first got there?
Well, we were just saying that we really missed each other. And
is that true, sir?
I did. That is true. I did miss her. I did tell her that I missed her.
So, you know, the time apart had, I guess, absent make the heart grow fonder or something like that.
Someone said that?
Well, that's how I felt.
That's the implication.
Yeah, that's how I felt.
That's how you felt.
Yeah, I wanted to make our marriage work.
And he said he missed you.
He said he missed me.
You don't miss somebody you're really trying to bring to the table and say, I'm divorcing you.
Right.
That ain't how you lead out, sir.
So when he went to the restroom, and his phone kept ringing, so I looked at the phone and discovered that he had been communicating with another woman. So
how long had you all been separated?
For 2 months.
Go ahead.
So I do have screenshots of the messages that I can give to you.
Yes, let me see them, please, Amir.
So when I saw that, it kind of like set me off. You know, I got infuriated, and I was ready to storm out of the restaurant. I told him, I can't believe that you've been cheating on me with another woman after we've been together for all these years.
Cheating implies that something physical or sexual was going on at that point, and it was not.
Well, cheating can be emotional or physical. And since we weren't living with each other at the time, I would assume that he was finding affection with the other woman.
How's your day going? This is from the lady.
Yes.
Better now that you text. Why was your day better after you heard from her?
We enjoyed each other's company, and she brightened my day, Your Honor. My ex-wife and I, at the time, were separated and living under separate roofs.
Do you say this to your buddies when they text and say, hey, man, what's up? Buddies who you enjoy hanging out with, do you say that to them?
I do say, hey, man, what's up?
You say that to men?
Not the part about
text.
that my day is better having heard from a man. No, Your Honor.
Why?
Men don't brighten my day.
Why?
Just, I guess, my preference, Your Honor. If I
preference for what?
For who I choose to brighten my day.
Okay, so only this woman can brighten your day?
No, Your Honor, but men don't brighten my day.
All right, let's move on.
I did mention, Your Honor, when I said that I had met Kate, that I enjoyed her company and she enjoyed mine.
Every woman that texts you, do you say better now that you've texted? You tell every woman that?
No, Your Honor. That was specific to her.
Why?
Because she and I were embarking on getting to know each other better. And it brightened my day.
You had an interest in her.
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right, well,
I
that's
agree.
what we're talking about.
I agree.
You don't tell a woman that you intend to divorce, I miss you. And you know you're misleading her.
I brought her to dinner that evening to tell her that I intended to move on with my life, Your Honor.
So why did you tell her you missed her?
We never made it that far.
Why did you tell her you missed her?
Because I did. I was married to her for 20 years, sir.
Coming up.
What are you suing her for, sir?
She wrote a review on my website saying that I was a cheater and did not follow the advice that I give to couples that I counsel, and that cost me 5 sessions, which would have totaled $1,000 in income. I'm sorry?
Someone told you that? They said,
yes, I actually have provided the court with the text message where the couple counseled.
Text message from whom?
That is the couple that I was going to counsel. That read her review.
We saw Laura's review on your page. I hope you can work through whatever it is you're going. They're counseling you. Your clients counsel you. This review, I hope you can work through. If you need a couple of tips, maybe we can help you out. No, it doesn't say that, but it does say, this review has given Jamie and I serious reservations. As a result, we will be canceling our 5 upcoming sessions with you. Best of luck to you. She was given a public notice, right? This was what they call a public broadcast. You know, like when you get an Amber Alert or something? She was giving you an Amber. She was giving these folks an Amber Alert. Watch out for her.
I had not cheated on my wife, and she posted that review out of anger when she found out that I was dating Caitlin. She did that specifically to impact my business.
How do you know?
Because it's not true. Because what she said was not true.
How do you know she did it intentionally to impact your business?
Because she said that herself. She stated that herself.
Ma'am, why did you post?
Laura Peters for lost wages.
What did she post exactly? Who has that? Let's see it. Do not go to him. He is a horrible marriage counselor who cheated on his spouse. Please save yourself the trouble. Now, he may not be a horrible marriage counselor. That may not be true at all. But he may be a cheater. But that doesn't mean he's not a good marriage counselor. It might be that he doesn't go by his own rules of his profession that he gives advice to. I might not. I might kick a client out. Get out of here. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Well, a lawyer is supposed to, or a judge, like you see me today. It's like sometimes, anybody watch my show, they say, oh, well, he gets upset sometime. He doesn't follow the decorum of a courtroom, et cetera, et cetera. But I'll say that's what's supposed to happen. So that's what I'm saying. He can advise and not follow his own advice at home.
Well, Your Honor, I felt like the statement was true because he doesn't follow his own advice. And
he doesn't have to be a good counselor.
But if he's not being a good counselor in his own marriage, how could someone trust him to be a good counselor in their marriage?
If you had not seen that I was dating Kate, would you have posted that review?
I would have posted that review because I would have never known you were cheating on your spouse.
And the other part is there's a debate as to whether that's cheating or not when you're seeing someone while separated. That's a subjective assessment. Different people view it different ways. You don't see you're separated for 2 years. Is it cheating when you got a girlfriend over the course of that 2 years, or you dating a man over the course of that 2 years? How long are you separated before you can cheat?
I think it just depends if the assumption is that we're getting back together.
All right.
We separated because we needed space from each other, not because we necessarily intended to divorce. But with the situation with the other woman, we didn't have a choice.
Yeah. Ma'am, I believe you posted this in retaliation out of anger for him talking to another woman or whatever he's supposed to have been doing with the woman. As such, I'm going to grant his judgment. You retaliated and hurt his business in the process. Good day. Judgment for the plaintiff.
All rise.
Judge Mathis has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $1,000.
Do you two have any final words for each other?
I hope that we can still be friends. We've been through a lot together.
I'm not sure about that.
Allison Meyer is suing Ross Lucas in the amount of $622. Ms. Meyer claims her restaurant manager accused her of letting friends run out on their bill and says he took the money out of her paycheck to cover the stranger's tab.
State your name.
Allison Meyer.
Sir?
Ross Lucas.
All right. You're suing him for $622, your former boss, for unfairly withholding money from your paycheck?
Yes.
Start with you. Tell me how long you were working there, the nature of the business. Tell me background.
Sure. So I'd been working for Mr. Lucas for a few weeks. He had approached me after I held my sister's birthday party over there. I am a bottle service girl, and I have been for about the past 3 years. I have a huge following on Instagram, so when we had our party over there was a ton of people, and we just brought the party. We had shots, we had bottles. We definitely racked up a big bill for Mr. Lucas.
How much?
It was about $3,000.
Section or table or for what?
It was for our whole party, for the 50 people.
50? Mm-hmm. Okay, that's a good price for.
Yeah.
It's moderate for
yes.
50 people. $3,000 at a club?
Correct. And that's
for 50 people.
That's.
Where's that club, Amir? You and your siblings like clubbing?
Sounds like
your brother.
Sounds like somebody's basement.
No, sounds like somebody's basement. And sir, you part of the establishment?
Yes, I am. I'm the owner. I'm the manager there. I've owned the restaurant for about 11 years in Illinois. Just knew that there's something special about her, so I decided to take a chance and hire her.
Employee.
It's great at first, she would talk to customers, have great interactions with them, get them upsells on the beers and the hookahs and everything like that. A couple times we did have an incident where we had a four-top come in, and I know it was her friends. She says it wasn't her friends, but the way she was going over there, carrying on for about 20 minutes at a time, at any restaurant, if you know the people, you're going to carry on for about 20 minutes. In my opinion, they knew each other. Turned out, the server comes to me later on, they can't afford their bill. Their card is declined.
The folks that she was talking to.
So,
Your Honor, can I just say that those were not my friends. I have met them
We'll get to
before.
that. Let him finish.
So, I was concerned. Customers can't afford the bill. I'm concerned, especially when they seem to be having.
But you don't require them to put cards down?
Well, we did have a policy change at the start of this year. I got a sign right here. I put it up above our credit card machine. And I brought it in as evidence to show that we have a strict training policy here. All credit cards are on file for all parties over 5.
So what did they say when you brought the card back and said it didn't go through?
So that wasn't my table. It was another person's table. That specific incident.
Sir, how are you going to hold her responsible for something that she wasn't involved in?
Well, this was actually an incident that happened before the incident that we're talking about here. The incident we're talking about here now was her table, and it was a 10-top.
Go ahead.
And she took the table. She was running. She did the card. I saw her do a card authorization for it. She gave the card back to the table and went about carrying her business. Now, granted, it was a busy night.
How will Judge Mathis? Let's talk about that night.
Yes. So that's the incident where He took it out of my check. There was a table of 10 that came in. I did take the card and authorized it. We only swipe the card for an authorization to approve that they have at least $100 on the card. So I swiped it, gave it back to them, gave them their food and drinks, and they had left. And so when
So they walked out on the bill entirely?
Yes, yes. And so when I realized that in the midst of all the craziness, I went back, swiped their card. That's when I realized that it was a gift card. It was a gift card for $100.
Well, first of all, whether it's a gift card, credit card, whatever kind of card, they walked out on it. Sir, I'm sure this happens regularly. So what is your policy when the customers run out on their bill?
Well, my policy is I am not going to be taken advantage of, so I hold my employees, the server, responsible.
All right, you're not going to be taken advantage of.
No.
That's your policy?
That was not something
I don't believe she's taking advantage of you. Grant her the judgment. Have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff.
All rise.
Judge Mathis has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $622.
Well, I'm sure you're happy with the outcome.
Yeah, I am. I definitely need that money, and next time you hire someone, you should tell them your policies.
I'll make sure of that.
Yeah.
Follow me this way.
Judge Mathis.
Jeremy McCann is suing Barry Niels in the amount of $2,850. Mr. McCann claims that during a jousting contest, the defendant's spear hit him below the belt and says he had to cancel his honeymoon after he was injured.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may be seated. Both litigants have been sworn in.
Thank you. State your name, sir.
Jeremy McCann, also known as Sir Jeremy McCann.
Sir, your name?
Barry Niels.
And this says that you're suing defendant for $2,850.
That is correct, Your Honor.
For a penile injury while jousting your penis.
Yeah,
Is that
that's
what you're here to sue about?
In a jousting accident that caused me to go to the hospital and cancel my honeymoon.
Jousting your penis?
Jousting, no. So jousting, it's a medieval sport where you ride on a horse with a lance, also a long stick, and you try to knock each other off.
All right, 'cause I was going to throw both of y'all out of here. You bring me some mess like this. So don't act like I'm so...
This is a test of the emergency alert system. During emergencies, WPIX will provide important information for New York City and its surrounding areas. This concludes this test of the emergency alert system.
Let me do this type of contact in full armor. Do you get concussions when you're knocked off?
Yeah, it's you could see that it's quite a dangerous sport, and there's a lot of factors that come in with injuries.
Yeah, but man, son, he did fail a few times. Give me some background on the association with Mr. Niels.
So we met about a year ago at a Renaissance fair. He told me that he wanted to get into competitive jousting. Me being a knight, you could bring people on as squires. I decided to hire him as a squire, and the relationship built over there, and we would train together.
Now the squire is he does the same thing, but is a lower rank.
A squire is, think of it kind of like a knight's assistant. You help them get their armor on, you help maintain the horse, things like that, in hopes to become a knight one day.
Okay. How did that work out?
Well, I guess,
let me ask him, was this what he came to do, and was this the agreement on his duties first? Sir?
Well, yes. I assist Sir Jeremy. Squires are sort of like the knight's pit crew. You know, we polish the armor, we help him suit up in armor, take off the armor. You pick the knight up when they get unhorsed. You take care of the horses. So, yes, I had been clear on that.
Were you familiar with his work prior to joining him?
Yes, I had heard a lot about him. He was a great knight. I was very honored to train and practice with him and be a part of his competition.
All right, so we're in the midst of royalty. You just not no regular knight. I should make you bow. So what happened? What went wrong here?
So doing this competitively, I have to practice often, and I was practicing against another knight with the help of these two squires. After the end of practice, Barry here, he asked me if he could get some practice in himself. So we went a few rounds jousting, and towards our last run together, I could see that his hand was slipping, and the lance went towards my horse's head and barely missed the head and went right towards my crotch, split my penis open.
Oh!
Didn't sever it off, but split it open. And yeah, it's not a pretty sight. I wasn't happy myself.
Not a pretty listen. I don't even want to. It hurts listening to it.
I apologize, Your Honor, but you can imagine. So I later found out that he was jousting with a broken hand, and because of my injury, I missed my honeymoon, and now I have a hospital bill to pay for, and it's due to his negligence, and that's why we're here today.
Why do you say he was negligent? That's the
because
issue.
someone shouldn't practice with a broken hand.
Let me hear from you, sir.
Your Honor, I had no idea at the time of the incident that my hand was broken.
Now you're lying. How long had your hand been broken when you found out it was?
Well, Your Honor, I was having a few practice runs with Tom the other day before the incident. And so, Your Honor, we were having some practice runs before the time of the incident.
How was the first time?
I'm sorry, Your Honor?
You said the same thing over, back to back. You all right?
I'm all right, thank you. I'm nervous, Your Honor. This is my first time in the courtroom.
Falls. That's them falls, Doc. You're right about them concussions. That a broken hand does not manifest itself immediately. That's why I'm trying to find, when did you learn the time frame of his hand being broken? Because he's making a valuable point. He didn't know it was broken. So he did not practice negligence if he didn't know it was broken.
He knew he was injured, and for all we know, he could be lying. So I found out after the event from my other squire, Tom here, who told me about his broken hand.
And he told you that he was aware of his broken hand?
No, Your Honor.
Did he tell you that?
He was aware that his hand was badly injured.
Okay. This the witness here with you?
Yes.
Squire, would you stand, please? State your name.
My name is Tom Horace, Your Honor.
All right. Do you agree what Mr. McCann says? It happened that way? You tell me.
Yeah, so 3 days before the incident, Barry and I were practicing jousting, which we usually do from time to time. We were on the ranch. We had a few beers. And while we were riding, he fell off his horse. He injured his hand from what I could see. I'm not a doctor, but breaking your hand is a really common occurrence in this competitive world. And it looked broken to me, and I told him, maybe you should go to a hospital. He said no. I said, okay. I assumed he would tell Jeremy that his hand was badly injured or possibly broken. He didn't. On the day of the incident, 3 days later, after it had happened, Jeremy texted me, and he told me that he's practicing, he's canceling practice because of his injury. And I said, why would you let Barry joust with a broken hand? He was not aware of that. I assumed he had told him, but he did not.
All right, good witness, very good. Well, you're one of the better witnesses I've had. And you look more distinguished than them as an English gentleman. I know you all supposed to represent that, but not really look like that. But that's the career or the Renaissance stage. Doesn't he look more like Robin Hood than the others?
Oh, yeah.
Like Earl Flynn. Earl Flynn, handsome guy. Earl Flynn played Robin Hood. Had the handsome guy, had the hair laid out. Squire, I'm going to promote you. What's next step up from Squire?
To be a knight.
To be a knight?
Yeah.
And that's usually, those promotions are made by whom?
Other knights.
Only other knights. Who is above the knight?
Well, that would be like a board of...
Judge. All right. You're a squire. You're a knight now. I'm above the knights. I'm above them all.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're the knight now. Good man. Good man. What you have to say?
Your Honor, as I was saying, I did not know that my hand was broken at the time. We were practicing. It is true that I fell off the horse and I hurt myself, but I want to be a great knight someday. To be a great knight, you have to train. This isn't something you can look up on the internet.
Great knight wouldn't train with a broken hand.
As I was saying, you have to learn from someone who knows what they're doing. Knights compete with injuries all the time. I have seen Sir Jeremy compete with a broken hand before and win, and I didn't even know that my hand was broken at the time of the incident. I just thought that I had hurt myself, but you get hurt doing this sport. That's just a fact. You know, I can't go to the hospital every time that I bump my head or get a scratch. So we assume the risks of participating in a dangerous sport.
There you go, dangerous sport. And no, you assume the risk of being negligent when you participate in a dangerous sport. As if, an example being, if you have a dangerous dog, if you have a pit bull, you assume the risk of being sued if that dangerous dog bites someone. You don't usually assume that risk with a poodle because the poodle rarely and is not considered a dangerous dog. So if a poodle bites someone, well, that was a poodle acting out of character. But if a pit bull bites someone, well, you had a dangerous animal. It's classified as such. So you had a dangerous animal that you could not control enough to prevent from biting. So you were, as you say, in a dangerous sport. And therefore, everything has to be done correctly. And no, you should not engage in battle. I don't believe that you should engage in a dangerous activity involving combat battle knowing that you're injured, because there's an increased likelihood that you'll hurt somebody. And so I'm going to grant your judgment, sir. 2850.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All rise.
Judge Mathis has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $2,850.
বা কোনো কিছু নেক নিয়তে চাইলে আল্লাহ তাআলা তার সকল আশা পূরণ করে দেন। আমাদের যে অভাব রয়েছে, আমাদের যে সমস্যা রয়েছে, আমাদের যে অনটন রয়েছে, তা আমাদেরকে আল্লাহ তাআলার কাছে দোয়ার মাধ্যমে বলতে হবে এবং চাওয়ার মতো করে চাইতে হবে। আর ইয়াকিন রাখতে হবে, পরিপূর্ণ বিশ্বাস রাখতে হবে যে আল্লাহ সুবহানাহু ওয়া তাআলার কাছে আমি যা চেয়েছি তিনি আমাকে অবশ্যই দিবেন। কিন্তু আমরা যদি আল্লাহ তাআলার উপর বিশ্বাস না করে শুধু চাইতেই থাকি, তবে কিভাবে পাবো আমরা? তাই আমরা যখন চাইব, পরিপূর্ণ আস্থা নিয়ে চাইব এবং মনে মনে এই বিশ্বাস রাখব যে আমার আল্লাহর দরবারে কোনো কিছুর অভাব নেই। তিনি সবকিছু দেওয়ার মালিক, তাই আমি তার কাছেই চাইছি। তিনি ছাড়া কেউ আমার চাওয়াগুলোকে পূরণ করতে পারবে না, আমার অভাব মেটাতে পারবে না। তাই আমি যা চাইব, নেক নিয়তে আল্লাহ আমাকে অবশ্যই দিবেন। এমন শক্ত ঈমান রেখে চাইতে হবে, চাওয়ার মতো করে চাইলে কোনো কিছুই আমাদের কাছে আর অভাব পড়বে না। কিন্তু আমরা আসলে আল্লাহ তাআলার কাছে চাইতে পারি না। আল্লাহ তাআলা আমাদেরকে পবিত্র কোরআনের মধ্যে এবং হাদিস পাকে রাসূল সাল্লাল্লাহু আলাইহি সাল্লাম আমাদের জন্য এমন কিছু দোয়া ও সূরা রেখে গিয়েছেন যেগুলোর দ্বারা আমরা আল্লাহ তাআলার কাছে চাইতে পারবো। এমন কিছু আমলের কথা বলে গিয়েছেন যে আমলগুলো করলে আমরা আমাদের ধন সম্পদ পেতে পারবো, আমাদের ধন সম্পদ বৃদ্ধি পেতে থাকবে, আমাদের দারিদ্রতা দূর হবে। তাই বন্ধুরা, আপনাদেরকে আর অপেক্ষা না করিয়ে চলুন এবার আলোচনা করা যাক আমাদের সেই কাঙ্ক্ষিত আমলটি সম্পর্কে। এই আমলটি করলে আপনি গায়েবী ধন সম্পদ পেয়ে যাবেন, আপনার কাছে ধন সম্পদ বৃষ্টির মতো আসতে থাকবে। সুপ্রিয় দর্শক মণ্ডলী, এই আমলটি খুবই সহজ একটি আমল। এই আমলটি করে আপনি আল্লাহ তাআলার কাছে আপনার যে ধন সম্পদ প্রয়োজন সেটি চাইতে পারেন। ইনশাআল্লাহ আল্লাহ তাআলা এই শব্দের আমলের উসিলাই আপনাকে ধন সম্পদ দিয়ে দিবে। তবে এই আমলটি করে যদি আপনি গায়েবী ধন সম্পদ পেতে চান, তাহলে অবশ্যই আপনাকে কিছু নিয়ম প্রথমে মানতে হবে, তবেই আপনি ফল পাবেন।